Hello and welcome to 𝐻𝐞𝐿 Qualifiers Matchday 18th or the last one with still some things to be decided, Venezuela or Bolivia. To go to the playoffs, Leo Bachanian, you were spot on in our previous video. 100% accuracy in your tips. Good job, Leo.
Yeah. That was a good one. Hopefully we can end in style again on Matchday 18. But yes, it's true. All the tips came correct. The ACCA as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
It was a very good one, and no both teams to score. A lot of wins 2-0, 3-0. So Leo was spot on. Even the goalless draw that we expected between Ecuador and Paraguay. So now let's see what Leo has prepared for us. It's going to be Venezuela or Bolivia to play this new playoff to go to the World Cup. We will know in a few minutes what Leo thinks. In the meantime, of course, guys, press the like, subscribe to our channel, and now let's go on with the show. Well, Leo, we have many games with only the pride on stake, and we are going to start our trip around South America in Ecuador, Argentina. This is a good game, but with nothing on stake. Cheers to both of them, actually. Ecuador, the biggest surprise probably of these qualifiers. They drew, as you said, with Paraguay, goalless draw. Their defensive record is great. Only 5 goals conceded, no defeats at home. When they are playing at home, only 2 goals conceded. And also for Argentina, the best team in South America, it was the perfect farewell for Leo Messi in Argentinian soil, beating Venezuela 3-0. So I guess they will be very happy, Leo, probably also with a draw, these two teams in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, Edu, and that is something that we need to take into account, that there are many games apart from Bolivia, Brazil, and Venezuela, Colombia, in which there's nothing to play for. So maybe in other circumstances, tips could be different, but it's something that we need to think about. It is the end of the road of the qualifiers, Edu. I can't believe we started in September 2023. In the middle, we had the 𝐻𝐿, and now it's just the chance for that playoff. What remains to playing for. The reverse fixture in that September 2023, Argentina won 1-0 with the Messi free kick. Well, that won't happen in Guayaquil because Messi has not traveled. He scored a brace with Venezuela and was given rest to spend time with his family. With the one on Thursday, he played 90 minutes in 3 consecutive games in the last 10 days. He's still coming from an injury, so it was the correct decision, I believe, to leave him out of the trip. But even if he won't take part of that trip, he's still part of the 𝗀𝗵𝗖𝗟𝗏, or the main topic of the conversation in Argentina, Messi, because Edu, he could not confirm after the game that he's going to play at the World Cup. He said that he goes game by game, that 9 months is a lot of time for him at this stage of his career, that he would need a very good preseason in January. But to a point, is something imaginable to think of Argentina without Messi. We are not prepared for that, but we will have to wait and see. I personally think that he's going to play, but this is what he said after the game. But we can confirm that the 𝗀𝗵𝐿 anyway, Edu, is in good health. The second half with Venezuela was very good. If you look at the third goal, the move starts with 𝗂𝗏 taking a corner on the left-hand side, and 1,000 passes after the move finished with 𝗂𝗏 on the right-hand side inside the box and assisting Messi to score. Mastantuono had a good game overall as well. He lost possession few enough times, as it happens to him since his debut in River, but his personality is massive. That is what is the best part of him at this stage, when he's only 18 years old, I would say. He asks for the ball every time, and he's not afraid of making mistake. And that is not for everyone, to be honest, Edu. During the game, I had the impression that probably some teammates were not passing the ball enough to him. And actually, after the game, Scaloni said that he was very happy with Mastantuono's game, but he felt that if his teammates knew him a little bit more, he would have done even better. He played on the right. On the left was Almada, who is definitely the one who have replaced 𝗵𝗵𝗏 in this team. Paredes in midfield provided another very good performance. Julian did not score, but only because he preferred to assist Messi in the first goal. Lautaro took his chance. So it was a very good night for Argentina. In Guayaquil, Romero won't play. He's suspended. We will probably see Alexis McAllister, some other changes, Nico Paz starting. And for Ecuador, Edu, Matchday 17 provided the new record for South American qualifiers. No one ever before drew 4 consecutive matches 0-0, and that is Ecuador. You mentioned with Venezuela, the only one not to have lost a single game at home, 5 wins and 3 draws, conceding only 2 goals. Bookies are not expecting goals here. 1.47, the goals under 2.5 market. Argentina won the last 2 games away with Uruguay and Chile, although before that there were 2 defeats, Paraguay and Colombia, and a draw with Venezuela. In June, Carleto Ancelotti made his debut with Brazil in Guayaquil with a 0-0, and I'm taking that route. Not the exact scoreline, but the draw. Edu, my take for Ecuador-Argentina is a draw. 3.1 is my take.
Looks like this. Indeed, well, much more on stake in Bolivia, Brazil. Bad luck actually for Bolivia having this fixture in the very last one, because even if Brazil is qualified and now they are second in the table, I'm sure is very important for Ancelotti, and after the bad performance of La Canariña during these qualifiers, luckily for the Italian manager, he got his second win at home against Chile. We saw 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏 scoring. We saw Wesley in the lineup, for instance, the new Brazilians arriving to Europe. And for Bolivia, Leo, is a must win. They have also to have an eye on Venezuela, because the Venezuela shouldn't win, and Bolivia needs the 3 points if they want to qualify. They lost to Colombia, and we know that where they are strong is at home, Leo. 14 points at home, 4 wins, 4 draws, and only 2 defeats.
Yes, Edu, but to be honest, I can't see Bolivia doing it. Even in El Alto, in those games with Paraguay and Uruguay, they were close to losing the game. Yes, they always had plenty of chances to score. Bolivia in these games in El Alto, they shoot from distance. The ball becomes very difficult to manage for goalkeepers, but they give you many options at the counter, and Brazil can punish you with all the talent they have. Even if Venezuela loses with Colombia and Bolivia gets a point with Brazil, it won't be enough for them, because the goal difference is too big in favor of the Vinotinto. There is an historic win for La Verde, and that is the 2-0 in July 1993. If you remember, on the route to another World Cup in the US, and that time in 1994. For Brazil, that was their first ever defeat in a qualifiers, and 12 months later they won the World Cup. Maybe they both will sign an outcome like this again, but as I said, I don't see that coming. For Brazil, these are good days. There is a feeling, a sense of a team being built here with Carlo Ancelotti. I'm not saying that everything is roses after a 3-0 in the Maracanã against Chile, because we are talking of the worst team in South America at the moment. Look at the stats: 22 shots for Brazil and just 2 for Chile, more than 70% possession. But as I said, there are signs of a team being built, a feeling we did not get with Fernando Diniz and Dorival Jr. Brazil was very clever with Chile. Against about 5, Ancelotti used his front 4 plus Wesley right back to start with a 5v5 in attack. 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, he stole the show once again, scoring his first goal for Brazil, the youngest goal scorer for Brazil in a qualifier to a World Cup in their history. Another demonstration that for him, every step in his career seems natural, something that is meant to happen to him. There were good interchanges between him and Rafinha and João Pedro. Many times the Chelsea striker was making decoy runs to create space for Rafinha, for the Barcelona player arriving from behind. In the second half, there was a good introduction of Luis Enrique and Paquetá. The West Ham player even scoring one goal. 𝐿𝐭𝐼, the Cruzeiro striker, made his debut, although not a very happy one because he got injured and now he's not traveling to Bolivia. He has been replaced by Andreas Pereira, the ex-Fulham player who is now in Palmeiras. The best for Brazil, I think, is that we can see the hand of Ancelotti. I remember his Real Madrid with both winger Vinicius and Rodrigo playing at times both on the same wing, short passes, 1-2 here and there. Well, the same we saw against Chile, with players having the liberty to move around, swap positions and spaces. That is the nature of Brazil. Another important aspect as well, Edu, for Brazil has been third consecutive clean sheet for Carleto Ancelotti's team. Wesley, Marquinhos, Alisson, of course, and Gabriel seem to be the one certain of a place. The open spot is the left back. Douglas Santos had a good game, the Zenit player, who returned to the national team after 10 years. As I mentioned with Bolivia, Edu, Colombia and Uruguay, they drop points at home. Brazil, we need to know when to run or not in this instance to administer the energy. But the last thing Ancelotti wants is a setback in this process. Another clean sheet for Brazil in El Alto is 3.3, which is of course very good. But it's very good already the 𝐿𝐴𝐵 for Brazil to win, and that is my take. Brazil to win 2.25.
All right. Well, Leo not giving options to Bolivia with this new Brazil. Ancelotti trying to get his first away win with Brazil since they drew with Ecuador in the only away game. Well, nothing on stake in the next one. Chile, Uruguay, really poor Chile, pitiful qualifiers, really bad generation. Leo, only 10 points, only 2 wins. Last home game was lost to Argentina. Actually, they lost the last 3 games. They haven't scored in the last 5. We can keep going with the bad stats for La Roja and for Uruguay. It was important to get their win against Peru now in the World Cup, and we saw Rodrigo Aguirre playing up front.
Yes, Edu, to be honest, for Chile, is they're desperate for this to end. It has been a nightmare the last 2 years for them, a nightmare in qualifying, a nightmare in the Copa America, third consecutive World Cup, which they are not involved. With 6.5 spots for South America. No wonder why Chileans see this as a footballing tragedy. Chile has been the team that have used the most footballers, 53 so far. With Brazil, we saw 3 debutants. It's a sign of a team that has been looking for different solutions and never to find one. To give you an idea, Argentina used 35 footballers, or Bielsa in Uruguay 40. I can't personally expect anything from this side going into the last match day. At the same time, I don't know if we will see the same determination from Uruguay, as the job is now done. After the 3-0 against Peru, there was a celebration after the game, with even Bielsa taking the stage. We know that Bielsa will always demand same level of intensity and concentration, but perhaps he will make some changes to test new things and players, but it's natural anyway if we get to see La Celeste with the gear down. For the first time in history, Uruguay is attending a 5th World Cup consecutively. When I was growing up, there was always Uruguay playing the playoff, but since South Africa 2010, that changed. With Peru, it was the best performance of La Celeste in a very long time. The energy, the intensity, determination, attacking after scoring the first, after scoring the second goal. The Arrascaeta not only scored a lovely goal, but he was the MVP of the game. And finally, we got to see the Flamengo player we are used to. Fede Valverde, as always, the energy bomb of the team. Bentancur again showing he can combine the best bits of a defensive midfielder and the best of a creative one. Rodrigo Aguirre, as you mentioned, Edu, the target man, had a very good game too, scoring the opening goal with a great header. I'm surprised how big the odds are on Uruguay to win. That could be a straight take. Uruguay -1 Asian handicap shows, for example, as well high odds 3.85 for Uruguay winning by a 2-goal margin. But my take here, Edu, is Uruguay to win combined with the goals over 1.5. These two together, Uruguay to win, goals over 1.5, odds of 3.44.
Well, Chile out of the World Cup together with Peru. Peru only 12 points, only 2 wins, and saying goodbye to the qualifiers at home against Paraguay, a team that got their ticket to the World Cup. Cheers to them with getting a draw with Ecuador, as you predicted also in the last game. Usually Paraguay is a low scoring team, 10 goals conceded, 13 goals scored. And Peru, no goals scored in the last 4 games. And overall, only 6 goals scored in these qualifiers, Leo. So I can see another low scoring affair here.
Yes, absolutely. I don't expect here a goal feast at all in Lima. To give us an idea of the importance of qualifying for the World Cup for the first time since 2010 for Paraguay, on that time as well with another Argentinian manager. It was Gerardo Martino, who a year after even took Paraguay to a 𝐭PA final. To give us the idea of the importance, once the game finished with Ecuador, the 0-0, the draw, the point, gave Uruguay the ticket, Paraguay, the ticket to the World Cup. At the big screen of the Defensores del Chaco, there was a message saying that the office of the country's president, Santiago Peña, have declared a bank holiday for the next day, for Friday. So that is how big it was for Paraguay to make it to the World Cup. 13 months ago, after losing all the 3 matches at the Copa America, having scored just 1 goal in 6 qualifying matches, having only 5 points, and trailing Venezuela, the only South American side to have never qualified to a World Cup. That moment, it seemed impossible to think of Paraguay getting to the World Cup. When they sacked Garnero, that was the 10th managerial change in the last 13 years. And the irony, perhaps, of all, is that the last game in charge for Garnero was against Costa Rica in Texas. Who was the manager of Costa Rica that afternoon? Gustavo Alfaro. The key of the achievement has been the defense. Paraguay have kept 6 clean sheets in 11 matches with Gustavo Alfaro. Paraguay was unbeaten in Alfaro's first 9 games, a run that included victories against Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and now they close the road in Lima against the Peruvian side that, as Chile is wishing for this to finish as soon as possible. On the road with the 3-0 in Montevideo, they finish with 7 defeats and 2 draws in 9 games, no goals scored away from home. In Lima, they got their only 2 wins of the campaign. We will see how is the hangover of Paraguay in arrival to Lima. But again, I'm surprised here. The odds on Paraguay to win are quite high. If you could be a bit worried of the hangover of Paraguay, guys, double chance is still in offer. It's not too bad at the 1.67. And I will take that, Edu. Paraguay, double chance, 1.67.
Well, okay, Leo, and then the last game, Venezuela, Colombia, very important for Venezuela. Remember, the only South American team who haven't played a World Cup yet, and they have the possibility to go at least to the playoff. Again, they are going to have an eye on Bolivia. All Venezuela, I'm sure they are going to back Brazil. They are going to be a Canariña fan, but perhaps they can also get the 3 points and then don't have to look at Bolivia. At home, they've been great in these qualifiers, Leo, with 4 wins and 4 draws. And Colombia have absolutely nothing to play for. They are fifth. They beat Bolivia 3-0, but also away they've been competitive, as we saw in Argentina recently.
But Edu, what is enough for, you mentioned Colombia not playing for anything. They've done the job against Bolivia at home. What is enough for Venezuela? A point in this game. Even if they lose, could be enough to secure a spot in the playoff. If Brazil defeats Bolivia, or even if Bolivia draws, because the goal difference is too big for the Vinotinto. That playoff will happen in the international window at the end of March next year and will be held in the United States. You mentioned the show has been in an interconfederation playoff, 2 spots for the CONCACAF and then 1 each for CONMEBOL, Asia, Africa, and Oceania. Based on the FIFA rankings, 2 of those 6 teams will be seeded and will go directly to the 2 finals, and the other 4 unseeded teams will play the semi-final match. That is going to be how is going to be played the playoff. I believe the face we saw of Venezuela in Buenos Aires, Edu, was one of a team that was already thinking this game with Colombia. During the first half, when Messi scored the first goal, they even got to know that Bolivia was losing in Barranquilla, so they knew a defeat was not going to change anything going into Tuesday. 10 minutes into the second half, Batista even took off Salomon Rondon, who didn't like to be subbed, but that was with the idea of resting him for Tuesday. At home, you mentioned, undefeated for Venezuela. And some people are talking about the pact of the Arepa pact, because as I said, a point will be enough for both. For Colombia, they dealt with Bolivia, as we imagine, not a single problem for Néstor Lorenzo's team. James Rodriguez will play his 3rd World Cup. Lucho Diaz will be in his 1st World Cup. Juanfer Quintero the 2nd one. We talk of John Duran, erratic career lately. After the match, Adamanto Perea, Lorenzo's assistant, said that the challenge they have is to make sure John Duran gets back to his best level. This shows that what happened in that changing room in the game with Peru, that verbal fight with Lorenzo is forgotten, and that Duran can still play an important role in this team. I don't expect goals here, Edu. Neither the bookies. Goals under 2.5 is 1.6. I'm not saying that the Arepa pact is true, but as with Paraguay, Ecuador, the previous show, my take here is a draw. A draw is at 3.1. For those thinking of a draw, but wanting to look for a correct score, 0-0 is at shows odds of 7, 1-1 odds of 6. But again, draw good enough for me, Edu, at 3.1.
Well, Leo is in Venezuela in this playoff. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you see Bolivia, perhaps, in those qualifiers. In the meantime, remember that you can post your tips and make your own predictions in our website, in Oddspedia, and participate in our tipster competitions. And, of course, also you can create your own tipster competition and play with your friends thanks to rivals. Leo, let's go with your safe bet.
Double chance Uruguay 1.38.
And the ACCA?
Includes that safe bet, double chance Uruguay, double chance Brazil, plus goals over 1.5. Venezuela, Colombia, both teams to score yes. All these 3 together, odds of 4.91.
Thank you, Leo. Thanks, everyone. Let's say goodbye to the World Cup qualifiers and see you very soon, Leo, with Serie A. Bye-bye.